Hi, Mishley. I wanted to leave you some feedback on Essay 1. Sorry it took me a little bit of time to get back with you on this, um, but know that you can still revise this submission. So yeah, you have some good descriptive moments in the submission, but there's really no clear sense of purpose, right? So you said that you got stuck, and yeah, you can see that. Because like I said, you've got some good moments in these individual paragraphs, but there's no like clear narrative thread that runs all the way through this. So let me just say, for example, you present this idea of eating turtle soup in Guatemala and how it was gross, or you were disinterested at least. Um, then to some some issues within the family when you were younger, and a little bit about identity, and then this trip, uh, and then the story of your mom's immigration, and then like various stories about family members, um, uh, and their movement back and forth between Mexico and this and the United States, and you kind of leave with this idea of hard work leads to goals, or it will lead you to achieving goals. And I think that maybe that could be the narrative thread that could run through this paper, right? But you need to think about how you can wind it through these other ideas and reinforce it in your beginning as well, because this really gives us no indication that we would end up here, right? And in some ways, it feels like two very different ideas. So if there was somehow in this story here, you could reinforce the idea of family or hard work, even though this is kind of like a uncomfortable moment for you. I think it could work, but perhaps this is a paragraph that needs to be either scrapped or needs to go in a different place in the narrative, right? Um, so in terms of expanding, I think that you have enough ideas. Mostly, you mostly have enough ideas to work with. I think it's just expanding them, right? There's just a couple of gaps here and there. So if you end up keeping this scene, give more details. You say that this was one time when you were in Guatemala. Why were you there? What was the purpose of the trip? How might family and hard work be reinforced? Use some more sensory details here. How did it smell? What did it look like? How did the other people react when they were eating it? Were you offered anything and did you refuse? Did you eat something else instead? Right? Just think about, if you save this, how you would reinforce it. There's a big jump between these two ideas. So I and this idea here about your mom's identity, and how you identify more so with her. These kind of feel like separate paragraphs. And at this point, I'm not quite sure how we transition here, right? So I think, again, if you could find a way to weave that thread of family and hard work, that would be a good idea. Another thing that's going on now that I'm looking at it is uh, you bounce around a lot in time. So remember, we talked about in class that readers really prefer narratives to go in chronological order. Um, so I would recommend arranging this in clear chronological order. If you want to start your beginning kind of in the moment of change, that's okay. But you bounce around a lot in the narrative, which is why it's difficult to follow your ideas. You might go back and look at the lecture on how to organize a narrative and use that to help you reorganize these ideas. So, I think, like I said reorganizing and having that theme of family and hard work woven through the narrative might get you there. I feel like this is the idea that is underdeveloped. This idea that you're going to work harder. Because note that you just present that to the audience in just like a single sentence. Well, we need examples of that. So talk about how you've seen that in your personal life. Talk about how you've seen good examples from of your family's ethic in your own work experience. And also, now that you're at Missouri Southern, how do you see their example playing out in the college classroom? And what are your goals? And how do you know that your family will help you get there, right? Or their example will help you get there. I like the descriptive detail about visiting your grandma's house, but that little story never ends up really going anywhere, if that makes sense. So you might go back and think about what the purpose of including that was, and again, how you can help that idea or maybe anchor that idea through this theme of family and hard work. So I think that you have enough to work with, but I mean, this will need more development in order to get there. So really, I think that you need to work on organization and more clearly reinforcing your purpose to kind of to kind of take these disparate paragraphs and put them together in a cohesive whole. All right, let me know if you have any more questions. Thanks.